pleased to announce to you we have a new class called Brain, Cranial Rhythm, and Bone Marrow. We're going to work with the bone marrow as one of the regulator and modulator of the cranial rhythm. We're going to work on bone marrow mobility, motility, and when we work on that, first of all, we're going to reorganize the bone, interosseous, intraosseous with the umbilical joint, and we are going to release a lot of pain. I was just saying in the class that I just work a little bit on people with this bone marrow rhythms and releasing the bone marrow, and the pain disappear, the range of motion increase incredibly. It's a little bit spectacular to see what happens with the bone marrow. But also the bone marrow start to move just before the cranial rhythm. By modulating the bone marrow, we can work with the cranial rhythm and modulate the bone marrow. So in that class, we're going to work with the bone marrow. We're going to work with the cranial rhythm. But first, we're going to give you a lot of details. For example, people say it's extension and external rotation and internal rotation, but some bones don't go in internal rotation. Those two bones go toward each other. This bone, tibia, fibula, go toward each other. So we're going to work with many places like this, which joint open and which joint close during expiration, during inspiration, how we connect the joint that open together, close together. What happens if you cannot work on the skull? Sometimes you can release phenobasilar from the foot, from the wrist. We're going to show the different bone that you can feel in the sternum, the sacrum. So some of those we're going to expose during the class. I didn't finish the content yet. It's for next year in Arizona. And also we are going to work with the different way that we can work with different rhythm. Maybe with the cranial rhythm, there's a small rhythm called the cranial rhythmic impulse, and there's a bit different type of rhythms. And we're going to see how we can understand the origin of the cranial rhythm as described by Swedenborg. Remember Swedenborg in 1774 begin to describe some of the what he saw as a first description of the cranial rhythm as a flexion, extension of the brain, right? So this is a flexion of the brain as an extension of the brain, but Sutherland looked at the angle of the sphenoid and the occiput, and he called that an extension and call that a flexion. So we're going to switch a little bit to go back more with what corresponds with the anatomy of a flexion and an extension, and we're going to work with that movement of the brain, what happened to the fascia. It's something probably you've never seen, but when the bone opens, the fascia is reciprocal and going the opposite direction than the movement of the bone. So that's all kind of little things that you have not taught. So it's not good to go over what they do in biodynamic, what they do with Fletcher, what they do with all different institutes. Is something that you probably never heard of, to deepen your understanding of the cranial rhythm, understand something that's really, I think, original, the connection with the bone marrow. And if you just come for the bone marrow by itself, how it can regulate bones, joint, intraosseous lesions, you'll be really happy to learn what's happening. So hopefully you come in America, and maybe if you find the time, we'll come to Mexico. Thank you.
Prerequisites, Bruno?
Prerequisite, just being able to be comfortable, feeling the cranial rhythm, the first rhythm, everywhere in the body, comfortable, so we don't have to, we're gonna have to start with that and then refine the touch everywhere, different bones, and so it's not,
Thank you.
Thank you.